Yes, people, welcome back to the Shoestring Budget podcast. I'm a bit lost for words tonight after watching that game. What a ridiculous game of football we've all just witnessed. Big shout out to Peter and Katie in the comments. Evening, guys. Oh man, I don't know whether to be happy or sad or annoyed. I don't know. What a ridiculous game of football we've just witnessed. Shout out to Craig as well. Hi, Craig. Thanks for joining us. Man, what a ridiculous game. I mean, where to begin? Firstly, Manchester United came out the tracks looking for, to scratch an early lead out. They very nearly got that, but that man, Francis Uzoho, I can't even pronounce his name, Francis Uzoho, the goalkeeper from Omonia, what a performance. Now, there's all this talk about Pogba going to see this voodoo person. That's what this keeper encompassed today. Mad juju going on. Absolutely, I can see in the comments already people putting that keeper, man. What? I've never seen anything like that. I mean, Marcus Rashford could have had 4 or 5. Ronaldo could have had a couple. The keeper was just on a mad one. It was ridiculous. It was almost like a FIFA game. You know them FIFA games that you're sort of playing and you get 70, 80 minutes in and the keeper's just stopping everything and the defence is stopping everything and you know the game is rigged at that point. That's what that game felt like. It was honestly unreal. The statistics in that game were insane. Honestly insane. I'm just having a look here. So, I mean, this was at the 80th minute, I think this was. Around the 80th minute, I got sent this. We had over 70% ball possession, 31 goal attempts, 11 shots on target, 12 off target, which obviously is ridiculous, but 8 block shots, 12 corner kicks. Now, for anybody that has been watching Manchester United over this season, and in fact over the last few seasons, we do not play like this. Today we were fantastic. We were going forward. We looked, it was great to watch. We had both fullbacks pushing forward. We played with Martinez and Lindelof. They sort of stayed in the middle of the park and everyone else just pushed up. It was nice to see. It was almost Liverpool-esque how we played today. We were on it all over them. The only thing we lacked was that finishing touch up until the 93rd, 94th minute, whatever it was. Madness. But yeah, someone's put in the comments, Joseph's put here, Uzoho was on ketamine. He was ridiculous. I've never seen a performance like that from a goalkeeper. The only thing I can compare it to, there was, I think he played for Everton. There was a goalkeeper, and he was like that against us. Every Premier League time we played him, he was always just, I can't think who it was. It was an old keeper. It'll come back to me. On another day, that would have ended 9-0. Totally agree, Craig. Totally agree. That was just ridiculous. And again, it's difficult because part of me feels so disappointed and embarrassed by that game. But then the other half of me is buzzing that we won, and also the fact that we did play well. We didn't play poorly in that game. Now, the game could have finished differently had things gone a bit differently with Bruno. If Bruno had looked up and seen the other guy, I can't profess to know his name, it would have been if he had played it across goal, it would have been a tap-in for him. And we'd be looking at trying to get a draw out of the game. Burnley flashbacks in 2016. Man, it absolutely was. Fred was awful, so we got a comment about Fred already. We're going to do the player ratings very shortly, so get ready to get your player ratings in. I'm intrigued to see. I think today's going to be an interesting one because of the fact it finished 1-0 against Omonia. The fact that we didn't beat them 9-0, as Craig said in the comments there. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be like. So let's switch over to... yes, Craig stealing my Burnley comment. I'm going to quickly swap over so that we can have a look at the player ratings. So this is a chance for you to just chuck everything in there. Now give me your ratings. I can feel that there's going to be slight differences of opinions, which is fine. We're all fans. This is how we do things. I'm just so all over the place at the moment with that game. I really don't know. Firstly, with David De Gea. Now, there was a point where he came so far off his line. I have never seen De Gea play sweeper keeper. We picked up on it in the Everton game, I think it was, and he came out of his box or, came out of his goal, off his goal line a few times, and it was nice. It was exciting to see. seeing him come that far out of his box, you know, he playing almost like a Manuel Neuer. He was really on it. But other than that, very little to do. Bog standard 6 for him tonight. Again, I feel like all we ever do is give De Gea 6s. Nothing interesting happened for him, but when he was called upon, he did his job. And by coming out of the box, playing in an uncomfortable position for him as a sweeper, he did his job. So I'm going to give him a 6. Let me know again, guys, what you think. I've got Katie here. When he came out of the box, I was like, wow. 6 or 7 for me because I was shocked. I've got Peter saying De Gea was a 6, not much to do. Him enjoying him playing sweeper keeper and that playing out with his feet. I don't even know where this has come from. I didn't ever expect we'd see this from De Gea. This, before we got Erik ten Hag, this was highlighted in his game as a weakness, that he can't play as a sweeper that Erik usually likes to play with. So I'm really happy that he can teach an old dog new tricks. So hopefully that will impact him staying on with the club after next season. If not, we've seen tonight we've got a backup keeper in Uzoho. I'd take him any day. I thought if he can play like that consistently, which I doubt he can, unreal. He was man of the match, by the way. Spoiler alert. That goalkeeper, fantastic. Okay, we're going to move on now. This one I can already tell. Diogo Dalot. Honestly, I can't wait to see the comments about this guy. So with Diogo, we said at the start of the season, up until I'd say the Everton game, he was looking sharp. He was making the forward runs. He was doing everything that could be asked of him. And again today, very sloppy performance, similar to the Everton game. Not as bad as the Everton game, but in a game that you should be a lot calmer, I felt he was still quite nervous on the ball. But I don't know. I don't know with Dalot. I'm intrigued to see. I'm just going to have a look here. I was going back and just see some comments catching up now from De Gea. Honestly, I'd do 7 just because normally when the back pass to De Gea, I start looking for a Bible. That's a great point, Joseph. Today he made me calm though. Craig starts, Dalot gets a 3. He was shocking. I'd give him a 5 as well, is what someone else has put here. It's North OMG. Peter's put Dalot 4 or a 5. I'm not feeling his last couple of performances at all. I'm with you on that one, Peter. I don't really. I think a 4 is a good score. 3 might be a bit harsh. I gave him a 3 or a 4 after the Everton game, but today he was slightly better. But and then that back pass was mad. Yeah, nearly cost us. That could have cost us the game, as mad as that sounds. Because if they wouldn't even need to push up at any point at that. There was a couple of times they went forward. If they had a goal, if Bruno had looked up and seen there was a man running in, we could be talking about a completely different scoreline, and most of us would probably be crying around now. So I'm just going to have a look here. So I'm going to go with a 4. I think Peter said it on the head there. So yeah, Paul's giving him a 5, Craig's giving him a 3, and Peter and myself are giving him a 4. Very, not good from him. The problem we've got with Dalot, there's no one to challenge him in that right back spot. We've got Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who Erik ten Hag clearly doesn't fancy, and I don't think many United fans fancy him either. But I don't know what's going to happen with him, and I don't know who we can bring in. Victor Lindelof, 6, didn't do anything wrong. He looked quite calm today, calmer than usual. Passing forward, I think out of the 2 centre-backs, we'll obviously get to Martinez, I think he looked actually the sharper one today. I wasn't impressed massively with Martinez. I thought he was sloppy with his passing at times. Defensively fine, but Lindelof, didn't do much wrong for me anyway. I'm going to go with a 6. Bog standard performance, and did everything that we expected him to. Also on Victor Lindelof, I want to give him a shout out for his involvement in the presser yesterday with Erik ten Hag. Thought he spoke really well, and I thought he answered some quite malicious questions, aimed at him, almost like the journalists were trying to cause division, which obviously we know that they love to do. He handled the questions expertly, so big shout out to Victor for the presser yesterday. Peter's put Lindelof 6.5 for me, decent with the ball, 1 point he got a bit outpaced, but good overall. Yeah, didn't do much wrong. I think we're going out flat out sixes. Craig's put 6 for Victor. He was calm on the ball. Forward passes, done nothing wrong. Totally agree, Craig. And Katie's put 6 for Lindelof. He was okay for me, just did what he needed to do. I think we can move on from him. I think it's a flat score of 6 for you, Victor. Now, this man, Lisandro Martinez, probably my favourite signing of the Erik Ten Hag era. Absolutely love this guy. I think he bullies most players. He's tenacious. He's an absolute lion. Plays for his life, and I love to see that. Today, passing wise, not great. A couple of sloppy passes. Didn't do too much wrong. I think a 5 would be harsh, but I'm going to go with the 6 again. A very calm 6, just because I think my love for him is there. But yeah, I don't think he was anything more than a 6 today. I'm just loving what he brings to the team, though. And I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, that there's been a calming down of the discussions around his height now. You don't see many people discussing it. So at the start when he came, you had Jamie Carragher going in on him. Simon Jordan on TalkSport was particularly hostile towards him, and same with Graham Souness. Now that talk seemed to have has sort of dissolved after they've seen the performances that he can put in and the tenacity in which he plays. It's a very good signing for me. Got Peter saying Martinez 6, decent, not too great on the ball tonight, but was still super aggressive. Love the passion. He's a passion merchant, and he's got the skill to back it up. He's so good. I love this guy. Tio's joined the conversation. Welcome, Tio. Welcome to the chat. We're doing our player ratings, so jump in, give us your scores on the players that you see on the screen. Done it a little bit differently tonight. Got some visuals on the go. Craig's put Leacher gets a 6. A bit sloppy on the ball, but he was fine defensively. Yeah, again, 6s again. I think 5 would be harsh. On another day, I might have given him a 5 today because I don't think he was as good as Lindelof, but there's not much in it, so I think 6 is fine. Katie's also put Martinez needs to show the power and fire he did at the beginning of the season because he's amazing. 6 today for me. I don't think he's lost that fire, to be honest, but yeah, maybe because he's played every game, so maybe he's one of the players that could do with a slight bit of a rest. Joseph's put, yeah, he had 1 or 2 sloppy moments, but he always mopped it up afterwards. Now, that's a big thing, and that's something we spoke about Casemiro as well last on the weekend against Everton. He gave away the goal, and he also lost the ball, won it back, fed Ronaldo through to win us the game. And that's what I like about these players, that it's not just a case of I lose the ball and I amble back. They lose the ball, they put their heart and soul into winning that ball back. We need more players like that. And also Tio's put, I'm rating Martinez with a 7.5, with a 7.5 a bit harsh. I don't know. I don't think, I don't think Martinez was much better than a 6, to be honest with you, to be totally honest. Let's have a look who else we've got. Tyrell Malacia. I'm a bit disappointed with the kind of way this guy's gone. His work rate's fantastic. His pace is fantastic. I think he's very similar, and this might be a bit controversial and probably incorrect, but I will back it up. He reminds me a little bit of Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Defensively, very good. Defensively, very solid. But going forward, I still think there's a long way for him to go. When Luke Shaw came on in the second half, that overlap, we spoke about that overlap in the last game against Omonia last week. That he doesn't seem to play with that when he's on that flank, but he doesn't seem to do the things that Luke Shaw does, and he doesn't seem to have the attributes that Luke Shaw does. However, defensively, I really like him, and I love his passion and his work rate. That can't be undisputed or contested. He's puts his heart and soul into the game, and I think he's still young. He's still very, very young, and I think because of the start he had, maybe we've done what we all fans do, and we think he's the finished article, but he's not. He's got a long way to go, and I think we've got such an exciting player on our hands. But today, I thought he was. I don't think he did very well today. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with a 5. I'm gonna go with I don't know. 5.5 today. 5.5, slightly below the other two. but better than Diogo Dallo on the other flank. He just seems a bit off the pace. I'm going to see what other people think about that. Malacia 6 was decent. Think he needs to improve a bit going forwards. Yeah. We've got Tio saying Malacia seems to be a bit scared. I totally agree with that. Really do. Really agree with that. Thumbs up from Dan. Thanks, Dan. We've also had one decent overlap, but needs to improve on that a little bit more. That overlap is so important. Manchester United have always played with the overlap. Gary Neville was very famous for doing it. Patrice Evra has also. It just draws defenders out and it opens up more holes. We've got here. Let me just see. Malacia 6 was okay. Wouldn't say he's like Bissaka, much better on the ball, but needs to overlap and cross more. Yeah, he is better on the ball. The only comparison I make with Aaron Wan-Bissaka was I like the defensive side of Aaron Wan-Bissaka. You know, the games like the odd games against PSG where he completely pocketed Mbappe and Neymar. You know, those kind of games, when he was tenacious and he did chuck himself in, those games sort of dried up soon after. But Malacia, he does put everything into his game, but offensively is where I struggle with him. Malacia 5.5, there's so much more potential in him. He works hard and I hope he can improve. This is the big important thing, and we're all guilty of it, and I think every football fan at every football club is we look at him, he had a fantastic start, jumped onto the scene, and then we all think, oh yeah, he's done, he's the finished article. That's exactly where, you know, the kind of player we need. He's 21, 2021, however old he is. He's got years ahead of him yet. He's sort of, 4 or 5 years away from hitting his prime. And I think he's under the best coach in the world to get that out of him, that attacking play. And we're going to see a world-class fullback with him. I have no idea what's going on with Malacia. He was brilliant for a while, but it's dropping off a bit at the moment. He gets a 6 for me, was great defensively. He wasn't known for overlapping at Feyenoord. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. I didn't know much. To be honest, I didn't know anything about him until we signed him. It was a late night text from Fabrizio Romano on Twitter that said, we're hijacking a move. I think he was off to France, one of the French clubs, and we hijacked the move. And I thought, who's this kid? And obviously you watch the compilations on YouTube and, you know, the compilations sell him as this sort of world-class talent. But he seems to like to drive at defences more now. The teams we play against, certainly that we've faced at the moment, like to play a low block. You run at them, they're just going to sort of like say, hit me, hit me, hit me. We need that overlap. The great thing about Malacia is he offers competition to Luke Shaw at this point. If we're going to try and look at positives, he offers a lot of competition to Luke Shaw, and Ten Hag has said, you know, it doesn't matter, I will happily pick Malacia over you. We saw that season of Gilberto Carlos when he had Alex Telles. Alex Telles just signed for the club, and we saw an instant improvement from Luke Shaw. I think that competitiveness is what drives him, and hopefully we can see a return of Gilberto. That's all we need. We can move on from Malacia, but yeah, interesting one to watch for sure. Still a young guy, still got heaps of talent, so he's definitely, we shouldn't be writing him off, as I've already seen people on Twitter write him off. We've got to support this kid. He's going to be something special. Now this is the one I can't wait to see the comments on this guy. Fredodinho. Wow. Now I enjoyed seeing Fred playing in his more usual position instead of the last time we saw him start a Europa League game where he was sort of having to play as a presser, and he was horrendous in that game. Probably the worst Manchester United performance from a single player I have ever seen. It was awful. Absolutely awful. I've seen kids on a park that could have played his role better. He was poor. Today I was quite happy with Fred's performance today. I don't think he did too much wrong. Little sloppy. There was a couple of times that he sort of defensively switched off, the occasional time that they did try and break us down, but I don't think he did too much wrong. I'm going to go with a 6. I'm going to go with a flat 6. Got here, I think Peter's put, oh sorry, let's have a look here. So we've got a 4. Ooh, and that's it. Wow. And I think everyone disagrees with me in the comments here. Got Tio 4. Fred sometimes forgets he's Brazilian. That's the best comment. I like that. Yeah, 4s. Everybody's saying 4s. Wow. Okay. I'm intrigued. Put in the comments, let us know what you think he's a 4. I'm intrigued to see. I'm not one of these people that'll think, oh, everyone's got an agenda against these players. I don't think it is an agenda. I think if you can see something, a dip in his performance, just put it in the comments, let us know, because I'm intrigued to see why people think it is a 4. There was a chance he had early on with the header that he blazed over. I don't know how he did it. Only Fred can do it, to be honest. But he has almost become a meme at Manchester United, Fred. I don't know. I'm quite shocked to see some of the scores. Craig's put Fred gets a 5. He was poor, slowed us down too much, lacked a bit of creativity from midfield until Eriksen came on. That midfield was very poor in terms of creativity. We sort of went through the flanks more so than through the centre, probably due to that low block, but that is a big concern for Man United. Certainly if Eriksen was to get injured, and yeah, I don't know who we'd have. Katie's put Fred, bless him, he runs like a mother. Okay. He is sloppy at times, but he works hard. 6 for me. He is a hard worker. I could never give a player a score just for working hard, because you're playing for Manchester United. You should be playing as if your life depended on it. That's what I like about Malacia and Martinez. They get it. Same with Anthony as well. They get what it is to play for Manchester United. They get what it's like to come from where they've come from to where they are now. They understand that. But Fred, I don't know. His creativity is very worrying. It really is. It is a concern. One thing about Fred, he switches off way too much. Again, totally agree. There was a couple of times defensively that he was caught ball watching at one point, and they won the ball back and went down their end, and obviously we had to then scramble it away. But yeah, I don't know why. I don't know how a player that has been dropped. Fred was in his. We saw the best of Fred last season, I'd argue, under Ralph Ragnick, and in pre-season as well. I thought he was quite good. I thought he had good performances under Erik ten Hag, and I thought this is where we're going to see the real Fred now. This is where he's going to dominate games and things like that. It's just never happened, has it? I think we live in hope of that. One thing about Fred is his smile is the best thing. The Fred smile is the best thing about him. Same as, yeah, okay, that's a fair comment. The Fred hate is real. I think he played well. Yeah, there is a hatred. There is, like I say, Fred has become a memed player now. Without a doubt, he's become a memed player. Whenever he does something, even by his teammates, you see the way the teammates react to him doing things, and they're like, "Oh, it's Fred. Oh, it's Fred." Yeah, he has become a bit memed, but I don't know. I don't think he was terrible. Yes, a lot of you disagreeing on Fred's performances. I can see in the comments here. Did we watch the same game? Fred was useful as Stevie Wonder at a movie theatre. Okay, that's a good analogy. Watch the game back. First half, he played well and had a decent amount of forward passes, and then some laughing emojis as well. Yeah. Okay, that's like I say. I thought this one would divide the comment section. But keep them coming in. Any points that you want to highlight or anything like that, get it in there, because I'll read them out. I like hearing people's opinions on this. But I'm giving Fred a 6. You guys, I think, are giving him a 4. So that's fine. That's fine. And one last comment on Fred. Fred needs to go to Watford. Wow, that's a bit of a drop, man. That's a bit of a drop. And did nothing with those forward passes. How low are the standards celebrating forward passes? I mean, we do criticize the side with passing a lot. When it was McFred and it was side to side football, we criticize. So we kind of have to give a bit of leeway to forward passing, a little bit maybe. Now this man Casemiro, he's really growing into this role at Manchester United. I was a bit unsure the first couple of games he played. I didn't really rate him highly. I didn't think he played well. Today I thought he was really, really good. Liked his, although someone's picked up on this, I liked his forward passing. He had that fantastic effort that the keeper saved and tipped it onto the crossbar. But really, really good. I'm going to go with a 7 for Casemiro today. I thought he was really solid. And yeah, I'm happy with what I'm seeing from him. They also, at the start of the game, I don't know if you guys saw this, they also highlighted his performances against Everton and the sweeper job that he does there, the defensive work that he does that sometimes goes unnoticed. But brilliant. I'm really starting to like this, and hopefully we're going to start seeing more of Casemiro now. And someone's put here, yeah, so we're going back on, there's a lot of comments about Fred. I'm not going to go over all of them, but someone's put Watford is harsh. I agree with you there, Joseph. Watford is a bit of a dip. He's Premier League quality, but maybe not Manchester United quality anymore. I don't know. I don't think we're ever going to see the best of him. And I don't know why we signed him. Certainly not for the money. But we got to move on. Casemiro, man of the match. Casemiro was perfect. 9, only a goal or assist away from a 10. Yeah, do you know what? I'm gonna bump him up to an 8. I'm not gonna quite go over 9, but an 8. His work rate is brilliant. It's exactly what I wanted from him when we signed him. I know it takes time, so you know, I did say that in past streams. We've got to be lenient and let him mould into the team. He's got to start now, and I think with McTominay being missing the Newcastle game that's coming up on the weekend, he has to start. Casemiro was a 7. Really enjoyed his composure on the ball and his aggressive tackling. Yeah, very good. You know what? After all my past comments about him, I'm so glad he's starting more because he's played well. 7.5 from me. That's from Katie. Anybody that's seen Katie's comments before, she really, really dislikes Casemiro, or she's been very critical of his performances, so that's nice to see. 7.5 from Katie. Craig's put Casemiro gets an 8, broke up the play, got up this pitch, did nothing wrong. He was a goal or assist away from a higher score. I'm with you fully on that, Craig. That's my score as well. I'm going to give him an 8 for that. Again, if he'd have got a goal or an assist, it would have been a 9 or a 10. That's the only thing that was missing today, and not even his fault. That keeper was on next level. If you ever see that film Limitless, the drug that they use in that's what this keeper was on. Insane from him today. Just can't stop thinking about all them saves he made. I wonder how many ball recoveries Casemiro made. He was everywhere. He was insane. I love his work rate. I really do like his work rate. And that the Everton game, you should definitely try either go back and watch it or watch the highlights and just see how much defensive work he does in them games. I can't wait to see when we've got Varane fit and we have a consistent run of games with Varane, Martinez and Casemiro. Really, really excited to see what happens then. Casemiro is literally so perfect. Absolutely agree, Theo. Craig's put Ten Hag has just said, I hope we save the goals for next week. I love Eric Ten Hag. He looked so frustrated, didn't he, today? He looked like all of us, really. He was just bemused as to what was going on. But yeah, high praise for Casemiro, and rightfully so. So 8s and 9s on the board for him. Bruno, another player I think might split the comment section. I don't know what's going on with Bruno at the minute. I mean, I'm intrigued to hear what your thoughts are on Bruno. I mean, the guy is... I don't know. At the start of the game, I had a conversation. I said, I think Bruno... We're starting to see the best of Bruno again. I think he's on the rise. Don't think he's where he was when he first signed for the club, but he's definitely on his way back to being at his best. After the disaster that we saw last season, he and everybody else were terrible last season. But games like today, I don't know. It really bothers me. In games like today, this kind of game is perfect for someone like Bruno Fernandes to try and feed that, the eye of the needle pass, that precision and that directness. A lot of his shots ended up into the stands today. I felt sorry for some of the fans sat behind the goals, probably going home with black eyes and bruised faces. I don't know. I don't know. I think a 5 or a 6, maybe a 5.5 for Bruno. I don't know. I don't think he's... Maybe I was wrong with my early analysis of him. I don't think maybe he's on the rise. I don't know. Been so hot and cold from him. But this is the kind of game that I wanted him to really push through and to show what he's about. The reason that we signed Bruno Fernandes, or one of the reasons, is because of his ability to break down the low block. Now, Manchester United over the past 5 or so years, 6 years even, have not been able to break down low blocks. And then all of a sudden we signed Bruno, and for the first year we were just about able to get it over the line. But we're starting to see a sloppy side to him again, which I don't know. I'm intrigued to see what you guys think. Let's have a look here. Katie's put in the comments, everyone get like in the stream, by the way. Let's get this channel boosted. Thank you, Katie. That's a really nice comment. Thank you. We've had like 85 shots today and like 80% possession. How on earth did we get just one goal? It's ridiculous today. It's akin to a FIFA game. That's the only way I can describe it today. It's ridiculous. Bruno gets a 5. So wasteful. Totally agree, Craig. Totally agree. Peter's put Bruno 5, thought he was crap tonight. Yeah, you know, I don't know what's going on with Bruno. Maybe we need to have a talk about Bruno one day, one of the shows. Katie's put Bruno 5. He's better than last season, but he wasn't great tonight at all. Bruno is a 5 for me. I'd love the guy, but not at his best game. He does good things, switch the play quite well, but he was sloppy as well. I don't know what it is. It's the sloppiness that's bugging me. And like I said before, this is the game that you look at and you think this is the game Bruno's going to break everything down. He's going to get that ball in, get the ball over the top. He had a couple of he did a couple of good things where there was one that he almost played it across the face of goal. And all it needed was a slightest touch. But then there was a debate whether it was a shot or whether it was a pass, just because of the amount of power in it. But Bruno needs to be doing better. He's the captain of Manchester United now. Harry Maguire, let's face facts. Harry Maguire isn't going to be coming back into the team anytime soon, unless there's injury. Bruno is our new captain now. He needs to step up. He needs to perform at a higher level. And I know he can. We all know he can. Anthony. I would say tonight was probably his worst game for Manchester United. Now, I'm looking forward again to see what you guys think. But for me, I don't know. I don't think he did well tonight. He tried a bit of skill, didn't seem to be able to beat their fullbacks, which is a bit worrying considering, no disrespect to them because they did up their game tonight, but these are defenders that you think we could do skills against and break them down a little bit, but they weren't having any of it. I don't think I saw one skill move get pulled off by Anthony tonight. He had a really good chance in the very beginning of the second half. Should have took the chance first time, in my opinion. Sort of held the ball up, which gave the keeper time to get into position to save it. But yeah, I don't know. I think a 5 or a 6 would be fair for Anthony tonight. Not great, but I'd say it's his worst performance for Manchester United, but that's not necessarily a bad thing because he has been fantastic, I think, since we've signed him. I've really enjoyed watching him. And maybe a bit of tiredness and fatigue is settling in now. He's playing a lot of games back to back, and also he's adjusting to a new league, and playing on a Thursday and Sunday combination. And the Sunday games have been very tough, very competitive. Both Manchester Derby and Everton, very tough games to play, both mentally and physically. So yeah, I think maybe that's taken its toll. And this is where I like to see Erik ten Hag make some more changes now. I know he's very limited in that squad with who he can bring in and who he can change, but we need to start seeing a different player come on. Maybe a Garnacho, maybe a Palestri, just somebody that can come on and offer something different. Anthony is a 6.5 for me. I thought he was decent, to be honest. Peter's put Anthony 5 or a 6. Their right back was like his shadow and couldn't really shake him off. Yeah, he was glued to him, but again, because of the kind of player Anthony is, and because of we've all seen the compilations of his skill moves and what he can do, I thought he would tear them to shreds tonight. I thought he'd be able to easily outwit them with his skill, and they just read everything that he did. I've got here, Anthony gets a 5. He tried hard, but nothing really worked for him. The right back just clung to him. Agree. And Katie's put Anthony a 5 or a 6 for me. Think it's just one off for him tonight. Yeah, again, I put it down to fatigue, and it's fine to have that because he's new, he's learning, he's developing into a much more competitive league than what he's been used to. Marcus Rashford. Oof. This is the hardest one. I've seen it all over Twitter or even on Facebook posts as well, just before we set the stream up. I'm always intrigued to hear what other fans think. But I think with Marcus Rashford, he's been lauded as the man of the match tonight. This guy could have had a double hat-trick tonight. He was insane. The amount of he was our best player, I think, in some ways, in terms of trying to get the win. He was definitely like hitting all his shots. Most of his shots were on target. He was just very unlucky. He was very poor in the beginning of the second half with the follow-up shot that the keeper somehow saved again. Almost reminiscent of Thomas Kucek. I don't know if you ever remember him. We ended up signing him, actually. He did a very similar save. But I'm going to go with either an 8 or a 9 for Marcus. I do think he was one of our better players. Well, he was without a doubt one of our better players, but it's the fact that he can't finish some of the chances. It's a slight worry. But at the same time, we were playing against a keeper that was on, that limitless drug, mad juju drug, next level. But I don't know, Marcus Rashford's a really difficult one to mark tonight. If some of them chances had gone in, you'd give him a 9 or a 10. But I'm intrigued. I'm gonna go with an 8 tonight for Marcus Rashford. A very strange 8 though. Rashford is a 7.5 for me. Very good today. I will not accept people telling me different. Yeah, he was very, very good today. I do really think he was good. Slightly unlucky at times. Very unlucky with the fact he was up against, Pogba's demon doctor goalkeeper, but one of them. Craig's put, I know Ten Hag isn't one to rotate, but it needs to happen. The players can't play Thursday, Sunday without getting a rest. Totally agree again. Honestly, Craig, me and you were in sync with a lot of your comments tonight. And I looked at that game tonight and I was just begging him to bring on Garnacho or Palestri, some fresh, fast legs, something that the defence won't necessarily know. They studied Anthony's game and they studied Marcus's game inside out, and the fact Marcus was able to break through as much as he did, I thought was really, really good of him. He was our most lethal player tonight, and I was quite happy with his performance. I thought he was very unlucky, but it was a difficult one to mark because I think he could have scored a couple of them. But going back to Craig's point there about the changes need to be made, they really, really do. And it's starting to show now. You're starting to see a lot of fatigue creep into this team. And with that game on Sunday against Newcastle, just, a few days away, that is going to be one of the hardest games that we play. It's going to be such a close game. And I got here, Fred was better. Fred was better. Someone's put in the comments. Wow. Okay, I'm not getting involved in that. That can be your fight. You can die on that hill. I'm not getting involved in that. 7 for Rashford. Thought he played well. I think I've read that one. Yes, I haven't read the rest of it. Our best player in the first half, but his finishing was shocking. He could have had a hat trick. Again, I put that down to the keeper, and I do put that down to himself. I think he was unlucky. The keeper was mad, but also he should have had a couple that were down to poor finishing. And yeah, just loving these comments tonight, guys. Keep it coming. Thank you for these. This is entertaining me. Man United, I'm not having that. Fred played bad. So yeah, we're still debating Fred, which is great. I can always see him being the most divisive player at Manchester United amongst fans. But sticking on Marcus, I'm giving him an 8. Thought he did well. Could have done better. Could have been pushed up to a 9 or a 10. Just wasn't his night. Very reminiscent to the Ronaldo game last week. Speaking of the GOAT, Ronaldo. Very quiet for him tonight. Very, very quiet. I actually made a note. I think it was about 35 minutes in. And all Manchester United seemed to do was just take shots from outside the box or just pot shots. Just anything to try and catch them off guard. Ronaldo was guilty of that. There was a really good chance for him to spray it out to the wing, but instead he had a shot that went over. And, he did the whole thing. Sorry, didn't see you kind of thing. But, yeah, very quiet. There wasn't much creativity for him. And I don't think that's necessarily his fault. I don't think... The one thing that worried me was I saw him drop deep a lot more today. But he needs to be that target focal point that he has been in the last 2 games. And the fact he played the full 90 with Martial looking unlikely for that Newcastle fixture does worry me as well, because has he got the legs in him to play another 90 minutes against a very, very good Newcastle team? Looking in the comments, I think Fred is Peter's love child. He's defending him so much. No, right, okay, this is brilliant. Okay, we're still on about Fred here. Joseph just came back to Rashford here. Rashford had one of them nights. Ice on that first half. He was fantastic in that first half. Ronaldo, a 6 for me. His head was not right. It was a good effort. Some nice flicks at the time, but very quiet. Yeah, I do. He was very, very quiet. Ronaldo 5 or 6 was a bit ineffectual. Ineffectual for me tonight. I don't know what to even suggest with Ronaldo. I think a 6. The reason I give him a 6 is because I don't think it was necessarily his fault tonight. I think the fact that he didn't have the service, the fact that they almost just sort of marked him out the game. It was a very difficult night for a forward. This, more than anything, should be a lesson in how we need a new striker. The Glazers have got to be watching this. The board have got to be watching this, although they don't really care other than, selling shirts. We need a new striker now. We need that person. We need Cody Gakpo. I don't even care. We need Cody Gakpo. We need him to come into the team who, with a bit of pace and that precision finishing, we could have had a couple more goals tonight. Imagine, take Anthony off, put Gakpo on that side. You've got Rashford going in on one end, Gakpo going in on the other, Ronaldo just sniffing around for any loose ball. Game over, easy. But this is a big showing of what we need. Ronaldo 7 for me. I like the way he will just go for it sometimes, regardless of the position on the pitch, but a quiet one. He's a workhorse, Ronaldo, without a doubt, and I'm liking that he just seems to be playing with a lot more confidence again, which is nice, and that goal on the weekend against Everton would have given him a big boost. So, yeah, 6s, 5, 6s and 7s on the board for Ronaldo tonight. Got Joseph here and Katie both saying about Gakpo. Gakpo would be perfect. Honestly, I'm a big Gakpo fan. I will always be Gakpo in. Whether or not we get him, more than likely we won't, is yet to be seen. But we have that big game that I've alluded to. We've got that big game coming up against Newcastle on the weekend. That is going to be one of the toughest games so far this season. And that's the game I'm not looking forward to. Tonight would have been nice to get 5 or 6 tonight, give us a bit of a boost. We could have easily got that. But the fact that we scraped a win in the 93rd minute, everybody's shattered. All they've done all game for 90 minutes is attack. I don't know. It's not the best. It's not the way I would want to go into that Newcastle game at all. And looking at the substitutes as well. So, obviously, we're going to go with McTominay. I was furious. And let me know again, guys, if you think in the comments as well. I was furious with Ten Hag when he was bringing McTominay on. I was like, what are you doing? We need to win this game. And you look at the bench and you think, who else have we got? We'd already bought on Eriksen. And I'm thinking, who have we got who can come on and win us this game? We've got no one. Other than maybe Garnacho or Palestri. But I can understand why he didn't pick them. I would have liked him to, but... And I thought, yeah, it's actually the only player that we've got that could do anything in this game. Little did I know, or little did I think, he'd be the match winner. So, Hugh McTominay gets an 8 for me. Or even a 9. To be honest, Scott McTominay's got to get a 9. Hasn't he, really? He won us the game. He's the only player that was able to finish in that game. Out of every single player we had on the pitch, only Scott McTominay was able to put the ball in the net. He's got to get a 9. He's got to be up there with Casemiro's score. But what a ridiculous time to be in when you're needing a goal and you have to bring on Scott McTominay. What a drop for Manchester United it's been. Honestly, it's so heartbreaking. Got to hear McTominay 7 just for the goal, and he had another chance saved too. Yeah, that was a really good save as well. I thought that was just going to creep in, but got a lot of people commenting about the Glazers. Honestly, we could do a whole night on the Glazers. We'll do that one night. We'll just have a complete rant about the Glazers and everything that's going wrong, because it's so frustrating to see. And the more I've looked into it, the more heartbreaking it's become. So if you haven't seen our video on the Glazers, make sure you check that out on the channel as well, because it is heartbreaking. Get it shared out there as well. Get people really fired up, because I think change is coming. But it's going to take a bit of pressure, a bit more pressure from us. Let's have a look here. McTominay, the man, I was shocked. What a night for him. Got to give him a 9 purely because of that goal. Yeah, exactly. I'm with you on that one. Joseph put, I was happy to see him, to be fair. I was thinking we can't score in the box. Too many bodies. And McTominay can hit them from outside the box. That's a fantastic point, to be fair, Joseph. His long-range ability is actually pretty decent. We've seen it a few times. There was that game against Arsenal a couple of seasons ago. He did really well with his long-range effort. And yeah, that's a very good point, to be fair. I just saw him and I thought, we've just taken Casemiro off, and you think he's just going to sort of play as a defensive player. We don't need that. Usually we bring Scott McTominay in to seal a win, or to just hold on to whatever, to hold on to the point even. So, but you've made a fantastic point there. McTominay gets a 9 because he scored the winner. I was fuming when he came on and he proved me wrong. We'll never doubt Ten Hag's judgment again. He's better than Pirlo. The Scottish Pirlo. I love it. Yeah, I'm with you. I was furious, to be honest. I can't swear on here, but I was not happy when Scott McTominay came on. I almost switched it off and thought, that's it, game over. We're just going to play for the point now. But yeah, really, really good. Better than Pirlo is slanderous. I like that. But no, it's all good. It's all good. I've really enjoyed seeing you guys in the comments as well tonight. So thank you as ever for joining me. I love speaking with you all. Eriksen, I'm going to go with 7 for Eriksen. He tried a lot. They really threw their bodies at him. I thought it was a bit harsh to just say about the goalkeeper tonight. I'd already made the picture that I put up on the start of the stream. I'll put it on for you again now, in case you didn't see it. But that was the picture I made. I made that just after half time because I thought there's no way any other player deserves praise other than the goalkeeper. But when Eriksen came on and he was trying shots from outside the box, they threw their bodies at him. But yeah, he did really well. Going to go with a 7 from him. I'm not sure if anyone else came on, to be honest, in that. I was just lost as to what was going on in that game. I couldn't really focus on the substitutes. I was just lost. Luke Shaw was another one who came on. His overlap made a bit of a difference. He really pierced that left side much more than Malassi did, so I'll give him a 7 as well. To be honest, Erik ten Hag's substitutes, you look at them, there were 7s and 9s. So 6.5 for Eriksen from Peter, and also Shaw gets a 7 for me as well. Let's have a look. You can swear on here. There's no rules, JD. Thank you, Craig. I never know, just in case I get kicked off. Let me have a look at Eriksen. Gets a 7 from Craig as well. A bit more creative when he came on. Yeah, it's a shame that we're having to rely on Eriksen. That's what Bruno should be doing. Now, I was a big advocate of it being just Bruno this season. I didn't really think Eriksen was a signing that we needed or we should be looking at. Don't ask me why I thought that. That was just where I was at that time. Completely changed my mind now. And I was buzzing when we signed him, to be honest, when we actually got it over the line. I think I was being stubborn because there was talk of him staying at Brentford. And I thought, well, if he wants to stay there, let him. But no, now we've got him. He's so important and so integral to this team. Craig put, Shaw gets a 7, changed the game. We looked more dangerous on the left-hand side. We highlighted this, actually. I think it was me and Peter spoke about this on the game on Sunday against Everton. And we said that, or it was actually, might have been the Omonia game last week, where we said when Luke Shaw came on, the overlap worked, and that it helped Marcus Rashford as well on the left-hand side. Having someone like him really helps Marcus. So I think we are going to start seeing more of Luke Shaw this season. And Katie's put, I think Eriksen needed the full rest, but he did good tonight. And Peter's put here, Sancho got the assist for the goal and a 7 for Sancho. Sancho just looks off the boil for me. He still looks very slow. You're right, he did get the assist, and a 7 I think is a fair score for Jadon Sancho. Erik ten Hag substitutes worked, let's be honest. You know, none of us are football managers, and you know, he knows the players inside out. I just love having a coach that knows what to do in what situations, makes unpopular decisions. Because I can bet you 70,000 in Old Trafford tonight would have been furious when he saw Scott McTominay coming on. Guarantee it. But Jadon Sancho's got a lot to prove, and I don't know if it's going to happen. We are going to do a rise and fall video on Jadon Sancho, just to highlight how he has dipped it, or how his form has dipped. That'll be coming out in a couple of weeks. Just to let you know, there was a Rise and Fall video due to come out tomorrow, but due to some technical Wi-Fi issues that we've had throughout the day here, it's been ridiculous. That's not going to be out. That's going to be coming out next week instead at some point, but we'll keep you posted on Twitter. That's everything from me tonight. Thank you all for joining. I know it's a late one, so I do really appreciate your support. Honestly, I can't thank you guys enough. And please make sure you like the video, get the video shared, get your friends to subscribe. The more people we get here, the more people in the comments, the better the content can be. So for me, thank you all very much. And like I say, get liking, get sharing, and we'll see you all on the next one. Have a good one.